Georgia, a small nation nestled in the Caucasus Mountains, finds itself at a crossroads. This picturesque country, with its rugged mountains and lush valleys, is more than just a beautiful landscape. It is a land rich in history and culture. Torn between its European aspirations and the realities of its geopolitical situation, Georgia's future hangs in the balance. The dream of joining the European Union represents hope for economic growth, democratic reforms, and a stronger connection to the West. For centuries, this land has been a bridge between East and West, a melting pot of cultures and influences. From ancient times, Georgia has absorbed elements from various civilizations, creating a unique and vibrant cultural tapestry. Its unique geographical position has shaped its history and its destiny. Nestled between powerful neighbors, Georgia has always been at the center of regional dynamics, influencing and being influenced by the tides of history. Georgia's story is one of resilience and determination. Despite the many adversities it has faced, the spirit of the Georgian people has remained unyielding. Its people have faced numerous challenges throughout their history, from invasions to occupations. Each wave of adversity has tested their resolve, but they have always found a way to persevere. Yet they have always emerged stronger, their spirit unbroken. The rich traditions, vibrant festivals, and deep sense of community are a testament to their enduring strength. Today, Georgia stands at a pivotal moment. The modern skyline of Tbilisi reflects a nation in transition, grappling with its past while looking towards the future. The choices it makes in the coming years will determine its fate for generations to come. The youth of Georgia, educated and passionate, are at the forefront of this transformation, eager to shape a brighter future. Will it succeed in its quest for European integration, or will it succumb to the pressures of its powerful neighbor, Russia? The world is watching, the stakes are high, and the path forward is fraught with challenges, but the resilience and determination of the Georgian people offer hope for a prosperous and independent future. The fall of the Soviet Union in 1991 marked a new beginning for Georgia. It was a momentous occasion, a turning point that opened the door to a new era of possibilities and aspirations for the Georgian people. Finally free from the shackles of communist rule, the Georgian people embraced democracy and embarked on a path of reform and renewal. The streets were filled with celebrations, and the air was thick with hope and anticipation for a brighter future. For many Georgians, particularly the younger generation, joining the European Union became synonymous with progress, prosperity, and freedom. The youth saw the EU as a gateway to a modern, democratic society where their dreams could flourish. The allure of Europe was strong. It represented not just economic benefits but also a commitment to human rights, democracy, and the rule of law. The vision of being part of a larger European family was incredibly appealing. The promise of economic opportunity, the rule of law, and a shared European identity resonated deeply within Georgian society. Reforms were initiated to align with European standards, and the nation began to transform itself. The European Union represented a beacon of hope, a symbol of a brighter future. Public spaces were adorned with EU flags, and the symbols of European integration became a common sight across the country. Georgia's pursuit of EU membership became a national project, a unifying force that transcended political divides. Political leaders, regardless of their affiliations, worked together towards the common goal of European integration. The government implemented reforms, strengthened its institutions, and aligned its policies with European standards. This included overhauling the legal system, improving governance, and fostering economic development. The road to Europe was not without its challenges, but the Georgian people were determined to succeed. They faced numerous obstacles, from political opposition to economic hardships, but their resolve never wavered. They believed that their future lay within the European family. The dream of joining the EU was not just a political ambition, it was a collective aspiration that united the nation and gave hope to generations to come. Looming large over Georgia's European aspirations is the shadow of Russia. The two countries share a long and complicated history, marked by periods of both cooperation and conflict. For centuries, Georgia was part of the Russian Empire, and then later, a republic within the Soviet Union. The collapse of the Soviet Union did not erase the historical ties between the two nations, nor did it diminish Russia's influence in the region. Russia views Georgia as part of its sphere of influence, and it has not hesitated to use its political, economic, and military might to assert its interests. In 2008, tensions between Russia and Georgia escalated into a brief but bloody war. The conflict, sparked by disputes over the breakaway regions of South Ossetia and Abkhazia, resulted in the loss of life and displacement of thousands of Georgians. Georgia's internal political landscape has been marked by polarization and instability in recent years. The 2024 parliamentary elections, marred by allegations of irregularities and fraud, further deepened the divisions within Georgian society. The opposition accused the ruling Georgian Dream Party of rigging the elections and suppressing dissent. Protests erupted in the streets of Tbilisi, with demonstrators demanding a rerun of the vote. The government, however, dismissed the allegations as baseless and accused the opposition of inciting unrest. The political turmoil has raised concerns about the future of democracy in Georgia. Critics argue that the government's actions are undermining democratic institutions and eroding public trust. They warn that if the situation does not improve, Georgia risks sliding back into authoritarianism. The European Union faces a difficult dilemma in Georgia. On the one hand, the EU supports Georgia's democratic aspirations and its right to choose its own path. On the other hand, the EU is wary of antagonizing Russia, a major player on the world stage. The EU has condemned Russia's actions in Georgia, including its recognition of the independence of South Ossetia and Abkhazia. However, the EU has also been careful to avoid taking any steps that could be perceived as provocative by Moscow. The EU's dilemma is further complicated by the fact that some member states are more willing to confront Russia than others. This division within the EU has made it difficult to forge a united front on Georgia. Section 6. A new direction? The election of President Mikhail Kavalashvili in 2023 marked a significant shift in Georgian politics. His rise to power was unexpected by many, as he was relatively unknown in the political arena just a few years prior. Kavalashvili, a charismatic outsider, campaigned on a platform of change and promised to break with the past. His message resonated with a populace weary of the old guard and eager for new leadership. He vowed to tackle corruption, reduce poverty, and strengthen Georgia's sovereignty. His promises included sweeping reforms aimed at rooting out entrenched corruption within the government and public institutions. Kavalashvili's victory was seen by some as a sign that the Georgian people are tired of the status quo and are looking for a new direction. The election results reflected a deep desire for change and a break from the past. However, others have expressed concerns about Kavalashvili's lack of experience and his populist rhetoric. Critics argue that his inexperience could lead to missteps in governance and international relations. It remains to be seen what Kavalashvili's presidency will mean for Georgia's European aspirations. His stance on EU integration has been somewhat ambiguous, leaving many to wonder about the future of Georgia's relationship with Europe. Some observers believe that he is more pragmatic than his predecessor and is willing to engage with Russia in a more constructive manner. This pragmatic approach could potentially ease tensions and lead to more stable relations with Moscow. Others, however, fear that he may be tempted to strike a deal with Moscow that would undermine Georgia's sovereignty. The delicate balance between maintaining national sovereignty and engaging in diplomacy with Russia remains a contentious issue. As Kavalashvili begins his term, the world watches closely. His actions in the coming months will be crucial in determining the direction Georgia will take. Will he fulfill his promises of reform and progress, or will the challenges of leadership prove too great? Only time will tell. The future of Georgia hangs in the balance, and the decisions made by its new leader will have lasting impacts on the nation and its people. The journey ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear: Georgia is at a crossroads, and the path it chooses will shape its destiny for years to come. Section 7. The weight of history. Georgia's complex history weighs heavily on its present. The legacy of Russian and Soviet domination continues to shape the country's domestic and foreign policy. The presence of Russian troops in South Ossetia and Abkhazia is a constant reminder of Georgia's vulnerability. The historical memory of Russian aggression has made many Georgians wary of any rapprochement with Moscow. They argue that Russia cannot be trusted, and that any attempt to appease the Kremlin will only embolden it. At the same time, there is a growing recognition that Georgia cannot afford to remain in a state of perpetual confrontation with its powerful neighbor. Some argue that Georgia needs to find a way to coexist peacefully with Russia, even if it means making some difficult compromises. Section 8. A future uncertain. Georgia's future remains uncertain. The country faces numerous challenges, both internal and external. Its success in overcoming these challenges will depend on a number of factors, including the wisdom of its leaders, the unity of its people, and the support of the international community. The path ahead will not be easy. There will be setbacks and disappointments. However, if Georgia can stay the course and remain committed to its democratic values, it has the potential to become a beacon of hope and stability in a volatile region. The world is watching to see what the future holds for this small nation with a big heart. Section 9. The Georgian Dream Deferred. The Georgian dream of EU membership, once a seemingly tangible goal, now feels distant for many. The path to Europe is long and arduous, and the obstacles are many. Russia's shadow looms large, and internal divisions threaten to derail progress. Yet, despite the challenges, the spirit of the Georgian people remains unbroken. They have come too far to give up on their dream of a better future. The longing for freedom, democracy, and prosperity burns brightly. The dream may be deferred, but it is not forgotten. The coming years will determine whether Georgia can overcome the odds and achieve its rightful place in the family of European nations. The world will be watching, hoping that the Georgian dream, though tested, will not be denied.